So this morning, we're in Las Vegas, Nevada, as we're airing the sentencing of two men I know you're going to remember. They murdered a retired chief of police who was out on a bike. Jesus Ayala and Jzamir Keys both pleaded guilty in October to murdering 64-year-old Andreas Probst. Authorities shared that the two men used a stolen car to fatally hit Probst as he was riding a bike in a local neighborhood. The incident was captured on camera. Take a look. It's horrible to watch. Police initially said that the cause, crash was a hit and run. They later added murder charges after they saw that video that went viral. You know, it was these teens who posted it too, by the way. They ran him down intentionally. You can see in the video, they thought it was funny. And that chief of police, who was retired, served a noble career in law enforcement, is deceased because of them. So today we're airing the sentencing that took place on Tuesday. Let's go into that courtroom together now.
I'll be relatively brief. As I mentioned, this court has dealt with a lot of litigation in this case. You're thoroughly familiar with the facts.
Yeah.
This obviously was a crime that was captured on video by the defendant. One of the most callous and egregious acts that I have seen in my career, and I think the community outrage was justified in that. I hope that these defendants understand at this point the gravity of what they did. We've come to a resolution that includes stipulated sentences. I've conferred with the victim and the victim's family on multiple occasions. Everyone's on board with the agreements, understanding that the defendants were juveniles at the time they committed the offense, and we're statutorily precluded from going outside what is allowed for the law. I would ask the court to follow the negotiations. I think the defense attorneys will ask for the same. We came to these after a great deal of litigation and thorough discussion. So with that, I would submit and allow the victim speakers to proceed at the end.
Understood. Mr. Keys, in a moment, I'll have the opportunity to hear from Mr. Hill on your behalf. Is there anything you would like to say, sir? Okay. Mr. Hill, I'll have your client, sir.
And Your Honor, in light of the indication the court gave at the change of plea, I'll just submit on the negotiations.
Thank you. Mr. Ayala, in a moment, I'll have the opportunity for Mr. Westbrook to hear from him on your behalf. Is there anything that you would like to say, sir?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Westbrook.
Your Honor, I'll be brief as well. We are going to ask the court follow the negotiation. But before I do, I want to talk a little bit about how Mr. Ayala feels. What happened on that day was reckless and it was stupid. They never intended to kill Chief Probst or anybody else, but what they were doing was inherently dangerous. It was the kind of thing that can result in somebody's death. And they did it. And Chief Probst was killed. Other people were hurt that day. And at the time, they didn't understand the gravity of what they were doing, and they didn't understand what could result, even though it seems obvious to anybody. Speaking only for Mr. Ayala, my client, I can tell you that he's expressed remorse, but he's done so in more than words. What's going to happen today is, if the court's inclined to follow the negotiation, is that Mr. Ayala is going to go to prison for 20 years to life, which means every single day of 20 years. And he accepted that sentence. It is one thing to say you're sorry. It's one thing to say that you have remorse. It's quite another to show that remorse by your actions. He did not want to put these victims through a trial. He's not afraid of a trial. I mean, growing up where he grew up, with the challenges that he grew up with, he's not afraid of a trial. But he didn't want to put them through it. He didn't want to put himself through it. He wanted this to be over, and the reason is because he is truly remorseful. He didn't mean to kill Chief Probst. He certainly didn't know who Chief Probst was that day. He was just one of two people who was out in a boosted car, joyriding and causing havoc. And this is what resulted. But the action he's taken in taking this negotiation, and I'm not going to call it a deal, that's shorthand that we often use. A deal indicates that you've gotten something that's good or beneficial. 20 years to life is the maximum sentence he could do. And so when I say he's showing remorse, he's taken a maximum sentence instead of going to trial. And whether you like Mr. Ayala or hate him, whether you understand him or demonize him, you have to recognize that he took the highest possible sentence for a juvenile who commits a second-degree murder in this state as an expression of remorse. I don't ask anyone to understand him or to like him or to appreciate him, but I think that you have to respect what he's doing here today, just a little bit. He's been the target of people inside the jail for these crimes, harassed by jail employees for these crimes. He's certainly been the target of death threats. I've been the target of death threats. A lot of it because people in the general public don't understand what's happened here, and because they've been fueled by organizations, videos, some reporting, most of it not from legitimate sources, that has been designed to increase rage and to obscure facts. AI videos, wholly faked, putting words in your Honor's mouth, my client's mouth. And that has increased the rage surrounding this, but it's done nothing to put the truth out there, and it's done nothing to reveal the reasons why this happened. And I hope that going forward, people will be able to put down their rage and actually analyze what happened here, because it is a broad tragedy. And like a lot of tragedies that affect a lot of lives, and you're going to hear from the Probst family about how it's affected their lives horribly, irrevocably. Like a lot of tragedies that affect a lot of lives, this was preventable. And I hope that going forward we can work together as a society to prevent these things in the future. With that, I'll submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Osgood. Mr. Giordani for speaking.
Here.
Gary, where would you feel most comfortable, Gary? Would you like to sit down or would you like to come up right here, sir?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm going to sit down.
Good.
Thank you.
Gary, would you do me a favor and raise your right hand?
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Will you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Gary Hindlemeyer, Hindlmyer.
Thank you.
Gary, thank you for coming in today. If you'd like to remain standing, you totally can, but if you feel more comfortable sitting down, that's totally fine too. It's whatever you'd like to do. And I'm ready whenever you are. The only rule is that you have to address your comments to me. You can't address the defendants themselves. But I'm happy to listen to everything that you have to say.
No problem. But Judge, would it be okay if I had her read it for me?
Of course.
Thank you.
Do you want to read the... Oh, you have it. That one? Okay.
Victim impact statement for Gary Hindlemeyer. The damage to my bicycle was minimal versus the effect on my mental status. Not a single day has gone by that I don't think of think about this terrifying experience that happened or could have happened, considering the next victim's outcomes. The physical injuries that were sustained were minimal on the outside, but internally my knee and back hurt till this day, limiting my activities. As far as the sentencing goes, I believe the reductions and dismissals of other felonies committed through a plea bargain agreement are unwarranted. In my mind, this case is a slam dunk on all accounts, as proven by the vicious videos taken.
Thank you. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Next.
This is just so heartbreaking. We're going to continue watching this hearing where friends and family of Chief Probst get to address the court before the court imposes sentence upon these two young men who took his life so senselessly. Before we go to a break, we want to give you an update on another case. We're learning that in Massachusetts, the sentencing for Brian Walsh that was supposed to happen this morning for his wife Anna's murder is going to be happening tomorrow. It's been postponed. So in case you missed it, in case you were planning on that happening today, it's going to be tomorrow. And Court TV will be there. He was convicted on Monday by a jury for the first-degree premeditated murder of his wife, Anna. We'll hit a break. When we come back, we'll return to the sentencing in Nevada of the two men who killed a retired chief of police.
Tonight on Court TV.
I'm Vinny Politan. Welcome to Closing Arguments. We have a big hour ahead here.
Your deplorable actions are unforgivable.
The community still doesn't know how this Boston police officer died.
He can't prove one element of his case. It was a dramatic day, a dramatic moment inside the courtroom.
What's happening here?
It's unreal. Let me show you exactly what happened.
Closing Arguments with Vinny Politan. Tonight at 8/7 Central. Only on Court TV.
How can you sit there after taking a man's life and act like such an entitled They were sniggering, laughing, just kind of trying to mad dog us and intimidate us, which didn't work.
And she's talking about these two defendants who were just sentenced in Las Vegas, Nevada, for murdering a retired chief of police who was out on a bike ride. Jesus Ayala and Jzamir Keys are the two defendants who stole a car and intentionally hit 64-year-old Chief Andreas Probst. I want to show you some unaired moments from the courtroom on Tuesday when these two learned their fate. Let's go back inside and hear more of the impact statements.
Please state your name and spell it for the record.
Robert Knight, R-O-B-E-R-T, Knight, K-N-I-G-H-T.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Knight.
Okay. Well, I really don't have too much to say, but it was just a very, very evil morning. And it has affected my life still today. It was just pure evil. Evil acts. That's about all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Probst, would you like to stand there or would you like to sit?
I'll probably sit.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Will you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Michael Probst, P as in Paul, R-O, B as in boy, S-T.
Okay.
Hello, Your Honor. My name is Michael Probst. I am the son of Andy, who was brutally killed innocently riding his bike on August 14, 2023. My father was an amazing, kind, hardworking, loving man. He was a devoted husband to my equally amazing mother. He was also a dedicated law enforcement officer who started his career as a police explorer and eventually retired as chief of police with 30 plus years working for the community he served. He worked tirelessly, always assuring that our family would have a roof over our heads, food on our plates,
and have the best opportunities available to us. He taught me key values and lessons that helped shape and mold me into the man I am today, such as honesty, perseverance, compassion, how to maintain a good work ethic, and most importantly, how to be humble to your fellow man. I can't help to think how maybe we all wouldn't be in this situation if the defendants had one parent like my father. I have so many great memories with my dad. Some of the fondest include going to the gun range every time he had to qualify for his department, all the car shows we went to, the many family breakfasts and dinners, and the bonds we shared over cars, movies, and video games. Family holidays that were once highlights of my year will never be and have not been the same since. Times that used to fill the air with his laughter and jokes are now met with silence. And the quiet moments we all shared together as a family are even more quiet now. He had so many plans for the future, so much more life to live and to experience, all taken away, not just from him, but from all of us that loved him. The chance to see his kids keep growing into the amazing individuals and contributing members of society. The chance of traveling and seeing the world with my mom. The chance to keep golfing with his best friends. The chance to truly enjoy retirement. The chance at being at my future wedding. The chance of being, meeting his future grandchildren. The chance of just being around as long as possible. All stolen by the defendants. The moment I learned of his death, all I could do is scream and yell. It felt as if my heart was just ripped and torn into pieces. This tragic, senseless act has caused so much harm to my mental health, and grief hits constantly. Holidays, birthdays, and everyday moments now carry unbearable emptiness and the feeling of just being numb. I struggle with anger, anxiety, depression, sleeplessness, and isolation. Even trying to form new relationships is just not the same. Our family is forever changed, and the emotional trauma will forever haunt us. And the anger and frustration that just flows through me on a daily basis, I just cannot be expressed by words on paper. The defendant's actions ended my father's life and destroyed ours. No sentence could bring him back. But I asked the court to fully consider this profound, irreversible loss with determining punishment and to establish a harsher sentence than what the plea deal outlines. Thank you for allowing me to speak today for my father, who can no longer speak for himself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will you please raise your right hand? You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this section shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Will you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Taylor Probst, Taylor, P as in Paul, Robest. Thank you.
Taylor, are you comfortable there, or did you want to sit up here?
I'm comfortable right here, thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
Well, to simply start off, I miss my dad. There are days, even 2.5 years later after the act, that I come home from work, or maybe it's a day off, something happens, and I just wish my dad was there. Whether it's something that I'm having problems with at work, or an issue with somebody, or just someone to talk to life about. One thing about my dad that I really, really do miss is the fact that he had a very calming presence. Whenever you were around him, and you could be all up in a tizzy, and within a 5-minute conversation, you're back down on earth. Now, I don't really have much to say, because I think my brother covered a lot of it, and I think my mom's gonna cover the rest. But at the end of the day, I miss my dad. All of my friends, as of lately, have started getting married. And so that means I've been going to a lot of weddings. And I can't help but think anytime I'm there that these are experiences that were robbed from me. Whenever I see my friends getting walked down the aisle by their dad, or their first dances, or even my friends who are starting to have kids and seeing their parents around, my dad will never get to experience that. He'll never have the opportunity to walk his little girl down the aisle and give her away. He'll never have the opportunity to hold his first grandchildren. And that's because it was stolen from him. And I fall in line with what my brother is asking. and what my mom will also ask, to impose a harsher sentence. Because even though there's no sentence that could bring him back, at least that would be a start. Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor.
Our hearts go out to the children of Andreas Probst, especially. You know, what an awful way to lose their dad. I mean, think about this. He served as a chief of police, had a long career in law enforcement. You don't just become the chief, you work your way up. You work as a beat cop, and you rise through the ranks, and you put yourself in danger every day. And then this fine man enters retirement and is riding a bike and is killed by these maniacs. Oh, it is just unspeakable. Let's bring in someone who has served as a prosecutor in South Carolina. You got to see her in action. Attorney April Sampson in the private sector now doing defense work. April, good morning to you. You're so compassionate and have always been such a great champion for victims. I know this breaks your heart as it does ours when we think about what happened to this chief. Tell us, please, when you saw that video that went viral, posted by these guys, by these criminals, you know, that they posted and thought it was funny. What did you think when you saw that about how they treated this man and how they acted deliberately that day with that stolen car?
I mean, I was just shocked. Like, first of all, who videotapes their own crime and then posts it for everyone to see? Like, it's a video of somebody shopping or a TikTok or something. I mean, it was outrageous that they posted it, but also that they did it and it was so callous. I just can't imagine what goes through your head that this is an okay act to do. I mean, it is unfathomable that you would do it, then videotape it and post it. It screams that it clearly was somebody who's evil, but also someone who just doesn't have the maturity to think things through. So for me, it's a dichotomy of, yes, this is a horrible crime, but it also showed to me that these were kids. Granted, they were sort of adults, as my kids call them, semi-adults, but it screamed that they were just not thinking, but both during the act and after.
It's just horrible. It's so predatory, as you know. You know, they see him, he doesn't see them, his back is turned. You know, I mean, he didn't stand a chance. No automobile around him or anything around him to protect himself. You know, and these guys, to me, April, I'm sure you've seen, you know, guys that act like this, these young guys that think they're tough and think they're hard and they try to be, you know, oh, let me do something I think is, you know, cool and gangster and all this stuff. And no, it's really not. It's cowardly, if you ask me. What do you think, April?
I totally agree. And I heard what the attorney was saying about their upbringing and that you know, they were remorseful, but you didn't actually see that in the courtroom. And that what bothered me. I mean, I understand that it is hard to look sad and upset the entire time you're in a courtroom, but they were in there talking to each other and acting like this was no big deal. And I think that goes to your point of that they're just acting hard. Like, you can't do that if you want any of us to have any kind of empathy for what you're going through as a defendant or what you have done. But also, it just doesn't work well in the press, in the media, and just in people in general to want to feel like, oh, give them a break. When you're doing the stuff like that, you got to keep that kind of stuff behind closed doors if that's how you feel. But it bothered me more that part of it than a lot of the other things that I saw. It just showed who they really are.
Yes, April, yes. The visible insensitivity there was disgusting. I know it bothered a lot of our wonderful viewers who felt so badly when they heard about this chief and the way he was killed. And these guys, they might have thought they were, you know, being hard by doing that. And now they're going to prison. So they're going to get a rude awakening. Bet they're not going to feel real hard behind bars there. April, stand by, please. We've got more video to show you. Coming up next, we're going to show you the impact statement from Crystal Probst. She is victim Andreas Probst's wife. Welcome back to Court TV Live. We're in Nevada for the sentencing of two young men who pleaded guilty to murdering a retired Las Vegas police chief. Jesus Ayala and Jzamir Keys were in a stolen car when they intentionally hit 64-year-old Andreas Probst. He was riding a bicycle. They hit him from behind, and a clip of it that they posted went viral. Take a look.
Ready? Yeah. It is that.
The behavior is just disgraceful. We're going to go back into the courtroom now. We're about to hear from the victim's wife. Her name is Crystal Probst. Here we go.
Can you raise your right hand, please?
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God. Please be. Will you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Crystal Probst, C-R-Y-S-T-A-L, B as in Paul, R-O, B as in boy, S as Sam, T as in Paul.
Thank you.
Whenever
You
you're
can tell we're used to that.
Whenever you're ready.
Your Honor, excuse me, Your Honor, I stand before you because these individuals deliberately and cold-bloodedly murdered Andy. There is no accident. There's no hesitation, no humanity. They made a conscious decision to take the life of a man who did nothing but serve others with dignity. They made a choice, and that choice destroyed my family. I am here because my world was destroyed, not damaged, not shaken, destroyed. And every single day since Andy was murdered, I wake up feeling like I am being asked to live a life I no longer recognize. A life without the man who was my home, my safety, my partner in everything for more than 4 decades. A kind of grief I never knew existed. A grief that lives in every breath I take, in every corner of my home, and in every moment I try to move forward without the man who was my entire world. Andy was stolen from me in an act so cruel, so deliberate, that it shattered not only my heart, but the hearts of everyone who loved him. When these individuals took his life, they didn't just kill one man. They destroyed a lifetime of love, security, and happiness. They took away the future we spent decades building together. The quiet mornings, the nightly goodnight kisses, the daily I love yous, the family milestones, and the joy of growing old side by side. They stole the future we earned, the moment by moment and year by year, and they left a silence that nothing can replace. The pain they cause does not fade. It grows. It settles into everything in our world. Sorry, it's long. Andy was everything a good man should be. Gentle yet strong, humble, patient, and loyal. A man who lived with honor and loved without limits. He was always the first to lend a hand, the first to offer comfort, and the last person who would ever bring harm to another. He was my partner in everyday life, my best friend, my protector, my steady source of strength. Losing him did not just break my heart, it broke the foundation of my life. Your Honor, our children lost more than a father. They lost the voice they turned to at the end of each hard day, a guidance they trusted, the safety only a parent can give, the conversations they once shared so easily, the updates, the laughter, the worries, are now painful reminders of what will never be again. Andy was their safe place, their compass, their example of the kind of people they strive to be. He should have been there to stand proudly at their weddings, to cradle their newborn children, to cheer for their accomplishments, to comfort them through their struggles. Those were irreplaceable moments, the moments when a child needs their father the most, were ripped away from them forever. And that's the depth of what was taken from them. The pain they have caused is immeasurable. Every day we wake up to the emptiness that cannot be filled. Our home, once filled with warmth and laughter, is now marked by silence and grief. The wound they created is so deep and permanent. The trauma of this loss has reached across generations, touching our children, our grandchildren, and everybody who loved Andy. My husband deserved to live. He deserved to golf again, to grow old, to watch his family thrive, to keep bringing light and kindness into the world. Instead, we're left with memories, heartbreak, and a void that words cannot hold. We carry his love with us for the rest of our lives, and we will never, ever forget what was taken from us.
We're going to pause it right here. There's more in this impact, time of impact statements in the sentencing hearing for these two defendants who murdered that innocent retired chief of police. Our heart goes out to his wife. Ooh, this is a heavy one. And look at this scene celebrating a birthday not too long before this occurred. They were killing for clicks, is what these guys were doing. They thought it'd be funny to post that video on TikTok. Not funny. They're in prison now, and we're remembering this noble life that was lost.
Can you sit there after taking a man's life and act like such an entitled They were sniggering, laughing, just kind of trying to mad dog us and intimidate us, which didn't work.
Yeah, she's talking about the defendants in this case who mowed down an innocent man on a bicycle, taking his life. They did it for clicks. That innocent man served for many years his community. He was a retired chief of police, had just retired, 64 years old, Andreas Probst. And we're hearing from his wife, Crystal Probst. Let's go back in.
And let me be painfully clear. The individuals who committed this monstrous act and those who enabled the path that led them here, the people and the systems that have failed again and again until this violence became inevitable, should feel nothing but shame. Shame for the lives they have shattered without hesitation. Shame for the futures they crushed under weight of their choices. Shame for allowing neglect, apathy, and excuses to take the place of accountability, compassion, and basic human decency. Their failures did just not create offenders. They created a lineage of violence, cruelty, and a chilling disregard for human life. Now I am the one left carrying the cost of every one of those failures. Your Honor, I remind you, they didn't just kill Andy. They filmed his murder and released it to the world, forcing his final terrifying moments into the eyes of strangers. That image haunts me every single day. It replays in my mind, without mercy, a wound that never closes, a permanent scar that is burned into my memory. It is a brutal reminder of the cruelty they chose. Intentional, deliberate, carried out with the coldness and pleasure that no human being should possess. That video lives out there now, publicly displayed, a horrifying testament to not only what they did to him, but the joy they took while doing it. And again, I remind you, we have generations who are going to have to see that video, whether they want to or not. Nothing can restore the sense of safety and peace that was ripped from us. But I ask this court to recognize the profound and lasting harm these individuals have caused, and their utter lack of remorse, compassion, or respect for human life. While we are aware the plea agreements were reached, we respectfully remind the court that you retain the ultimate authority, with respect, to impose a sentence that reflects the true severity of their actions. We implore you to exercise that authority and impose the maximum sentence. A maximum sentence permitted by law is the only thing that begins to honor the man Andy was, and the devastation left in the wake of his murder. Do not let Andy's life, a life lived with integrity, devotion, and love, be diminished by leniency. A maximum sentence reaffirms that human life is sacred, and that acts of such deliberate cruelty will be met to the fullest measures of justice. I thank you, Your Honor, for your time.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Mr. Keys, would you please stand? Thank you so much to all of those who came and spoke today, from the Probst family to Mr. Knight, Mr. Heidelberry. I appreciate everyone coming here, and I've seen the Probst family. I don't know if you've ever missed a court date, to be honest, especially.
And there is Her Honor, who's going to be addressing the family here and then imposing the sentence. We'll pause it right there before we get to Her Honor's remarks. I want to bring back in our legal analyst guest. She's an attorney in the private sector now doing criminal defense work. She's also served as a prosecutor in South Carolina. Attorney April Sampson is with us. April, tell me, when you hear all these impact statements, what are you thinking that the judge may be thinking here? Is she sitting up there getting ready to impose sentence on the two responsible for all this devastation?
Well, it's my understanding that this is a mandatory minimum of 20 up to life, and that's the harshest sentence she can give under this particular laws of that state. And so I think that she wants to do justice for the victims, but she's kind of hamstrung in how much she can or can't do. And so I think that can be frustrating for a judge. But in this situation, I think she'll give them what they deserve and what they've agreed to, which is the 20 to life. But listening to all that is heartbreaking. And I think sometimes judges want to do something different, but they're a little bit stuck in what they can actually impose.
Mm-hmm. Right. How about the conversations that the prosecutors may be having with these victims on a day like today? Talk to us about what a day like, well, and it was yesterday. I want to be very clear. We filmed this yesterday. We're showing unaired footage for the first time today. So, April, yesterday, what was it like?
So when I've had to do that myself, it's really hard. I think as a prosecutor, you go into this job wanting to do justice, wanting to do right by victims. But the thing you can't do is bring back their loved ones. And so sitting down there and saying, well, this is what we can do to punish the person for what they did, but also having to sit with them and feel the pain that they're going through and know that there's really not a whole lot you can do other than try to end this portion of their life and their journey in terms of what's going on with this case is all that you can do as a prosecutor. And I will say those were the heaviest days when as a prosecutor is sitting with victims and having to just feel that pain and seeing if there's anything you can do to relieve it just a little. And so, you at least end their journey with the criminal justice system, even though you can't make things better in terms of bringing back that loved ones. This is about as best as you can do.
Right. It's so hard. It's often a position, you know, it just feels impossible sometimes because there's nothing that can be done to bring the victim back. You want to show, you know, your compassion to them, and this is perhaps one of the worst days of their life, you know, that they're going to be going through with you, and you do the best you can to navigate it with compassion and grace, as you always have. April Sampson, we always appreciate your time. Thank you for the excellent insights this morning, and happy holidays to you and your family. We'll look forward to seeing you back here very soon. Friends at home, don't go anywhere. We're about to see the imposition of the sentence on the two men who mowed down that innocent, retired chief of police. Welcome to our second hour of Court TV Live on this Wednesday morning. I'm your host, Julie Grant. It's great to have you at home along with us. So we are in Nevada, showing you the sentencing of two men who pleaded guilty to murdering a retired chief of police. If you're just joining our coverage, you're going to remember this case. It was all about a video that went viral. This is the victim here, 64-year-old Andreas Probst. He had just retired from police work. He had served many years and retired at the rank of chief. And he was riding a bicycle on a roadway, not bothering anybody. And then two young men decided that it would be funny to hit him with a stolen car that they were driving. They filmed it for social media and posted it. Take a look.
Ready? Yeah. It is that.
Police initially thought this might have been a hit and run, but then they realized it was a murder after they saw that viral video. And we're about to see the judge impose sentence upon the two murderers, Jesus Ayala and Jzamir Keys. Let's go in.
I don't know if you've ever missed a court date, to be honest, especially Crystal. I've seen them every single time this matter has come on, even if it's just like a simple status check where the attorneys come in, I give a quick date, and it probably lasts 10 seconds. The Probsts have been here, and I know that that's taxing on you, but it really shows the court the impact that this had on your life and how important this is to you. And from everything that I have heard, Mr. Probst sounds like an incredibly committed. As the attorneys were discussing, this case has been heavily litigated, and so I'm more familiar with the facts of this case than some of the other cases that aren't as heavily litigated. And there's so many aspects of this case that bother me. You know, this was so much more than, I have defendants, so many defendants, young defendants that make very rash, impulsive decisions, and there are catastrophic consequences because of that very, very quick decision. This is not that to me. This is not this case. This was so much more than a joyride. This could have stopped with Mr. Knight. This could have stopped with Mr. Heidelberry, and it didn't. It just kept going and going and escalating, and more people were getting hurt. The Probsts not only have to live with the knowledge of their father, their husband, their brother being killed in this manner, which is horrific. Most people who come in here and speak to me at sentencings, they're in the position of losing someone. They're not in the position of having to have been shown what their family member went through. And that is a completely different level of pain. And it has always bothered me when we look at that body hitting that windshield, and I look at the things that were said, like, hit his ass, go, 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 maneuver, are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready, hit his ass. And then the body hits the windshield, it hits the sidewalk, it rolls away, and one suspect says, hey, blank, that N-word got knocked out. I'm so offended by that conduct. So offended that when you saw that body hit your windshield and roll away, the first thing you're gonna think was, oh my gosh, what have we done? And you just kept going and doing more and more illegal things. Clearly, I know you know now it's much more, a slap in the wrist. But there are no words that can convey the pain that you two have caused. And I recognize you've had different full lives up to this point. I have. I've read your records and I get it. And I have fought a long time for kids that came from backgrounds like yours. But there is no excuse for what you two have done and the damage and pain that you have caused. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, as to Mr. Keys, you are hereby adjudged guilty of the crime as to count one, murder in second degree with use of a deadly weapon and battery with use of a deadly weapon. As to count one, both parties stipulate to a prison term of 18 years to life in the Nevada Department of Corrections, which would be 10 to life for the second degree murder and then 8 to life for the deadly weapon enhancement. As to count two, both parties stipulate to a prison term of 4 to 10 years to run concurrently. That would be a term of 18 years to life. In regards to the restitution, the total amount is $10,777.97 for the medical and funeral expenses, and that goes to Mr. Probst's family, Crystal Probst. Restitution has been shown through the receipts. In regards to Mr. Jesus Ayala, C377588-2, and I apologize, I need to put the credit for time served for Mr. Keys, which is 819 days. As for Mr. Ayala, the parties have stipulated he is adjudged guilty in murder in the second degree with use of a deadly weapon and battery with use of a deadly weapon. The sentence is for Mr. Ayala is a minimum first degree murder, a minimum of 10 years on the second degree murder to life, with a deadly weapon enhancement of a minimum of 8 years, which brings that to 18 to life. And then as to count two, both parties stipulate to a prison term of 2 to 10 years in the Nevada Department of Corrections. That will run consecutively to count one for an aggregate term of 20 years in the Nevada Department of Corrections, so 20 to life. And then in case C-392-917-1, both parties are agreed to stipulate to a prison term of 2 to 10 years to run concurrently to the cases C-23377-588-2 and C-25392-916. In regards to case number C-392-916, both parties stipulate to a prison term of 2 to 10 years in the Nevada Department of Corrections to run concurrently to the cases I already put on record. As part of these negotiations, the state agrees to dismiss case number 25 C-25392-441-2 after the rendition of sentence which just occurred, therefore that is dismissed. The credit for time served is also 819 days. I apologize, but yes. And then on page 3, it's State of Nevada versus Jesus Ayala, C-392-441-2. This matter is dismissed pursuant to the negotiations and the fact that it is sentenced. As to page 4, State of Nevada versus Jesus Ayala, C-392-916-1. Both parties, this is the case where both parties stipulated to a sentence of 2 to 10 years in the Nevada Department of Corrections to run concurrently to C-23377-588-2 and C-25392-917-1. All remaining counts are dismissed. Credit for time served on that case is 436 days. Credit for time served, and I'm showing a restitution request. As to page 5, State of Nevada versus Jesus Ayala, C-392-917. This is both parties stipulating to a prison term of 2 to 10 years in the Nevada Department of Corrections to run concurrently to C-23377-588-2 and C-25392-916-1. He is adjudicated guilty of battery with use of a deadly weapon resulting in substantial bodily harm. In addition to the $25 administrative assessment fee, the $150 DNA fee, the $3 DNA collection fee, and the fact that he has to be for testing. That is the sentence. It's 700 days credit for time served. I'm not showing restitution. And I apologize. In regards to the 392,916, he was found guilty of the crime of robbery.
Do we have restitution?
I'm not showing a restitution request in either of those cases.
How about the 377 is on the 70?
Yes, and the restitution for the initial cases.
Well, what a thoughtful judge. What a thoughtful judge delivering that opinion to the court, just saying how offensive this conduct was. Not only criminal, but also offensive in every way. And these two don't appear to be showing any remorse at the time they're learning their prison sentences. What do you think about this case as the sentencing hearing comes to a conclusion? Let's bring in our legal analyst guest. She's an attorney in the private sector, now does defense work. She's also served as a prosecuting attorney. Lindsay Richards is with us this hour. Lindsay, wonderful to have you on the show. Share with us your thoughts, please, about this case overall and the handling of it by the judge, as we just saw with her imposition of the sentences.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you. I was very impressed by this judge just now and the way and how eloquent and wonderfully she handled this sentencing. It's a horrific case, of course, and, you know, such a blatantly intentional murder with seemingly no remorse of any kind by these kids. The thing is, they were juveniles at the time of the offense, which means they're eligible for parole at 20 years, no matter what. So yes, they have the sentence of 20 to life. We'll see if they're granted parole in 20 years, but they are eligible because they were juveniles at the time. You know, it's so hard in these situations because these are kids and they don't have, you know, fully developed brains and frontal lobes to understand consequences. But at the same time, they seem to have such a blatant disregard for humanity and for what they've done. And I do think it brings up a bigger question, sort of societal question of social media and the internet and the exposure that some of these young kids have. And if they're fully understanding consequences and reality. And I think this is an instance where they don't understand reality, or they maybe never did, or, you know, I'm not totally sure, but I do think it brings up a big discussion for our culture.
Yeah, it really does, Lindsay, you're right. The way we had branded this case, we thought it was going to trial. There were all indications that it was. Thankfully, it was resolved with a plea, you know, for the victim's family's sake. But we're calling it the killing for clicks case because that's exactly what it was. That was at the root of this all. As you said, this brings up a larger issue of people not just living to live anymore, they're living to post. You know, I see it all the time. Sometimes it kind of makes me crazy when, you know, maybe you're out with somebody and they're not giving you their undivided attention. You're not having like a normal conversation, normal visit, because it's all about being somewhere else, posting, oh, I got to put this up. I got to, you know, that isn't real life, you know, and this is coming from somebody who has to do social media for my job. And it's fine. And I enjoy the interaction when it's appropriate, but I don't live for it. Yeah. What do you think about where we're headed in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I understand the addiction of it as a, you know, full-blown adult, and it's addicting, but I also think these really young kids and these young brains that have this exposure, you know, early on, and there's been studies about this, like we know now how damaging it is for these young kids. And I don't think with these underdeveloped brains, they're able to decipher between reality and online. And I think it gets really difficult for them. And, you know, I think for these kids, it seems like they're happy they're getting the attention. and, you know, consequences be damned. And that is very scary.
Right. I mean, harken back to your time in the DA's office, you know, and did you ever have a case where your defendants are filming themselves for social and posting it? I mean, that's how, right? These prosecutors got the case. I can't even imagine, right? I'm harkening back to that time, you know. And so that's where we are. I mean, and thank goodness it helped to get justice. But as you know, Lindsay, it's just so terrible and so insensitive. I know you share the sentiments of our members of our Court TV family who've written in about this. It's just so heartbreaking that man who served so many years had to be taken away in this kind of a tragic, senseless crime. Deep breath as we wish the Probst family the very best as they head into the holiday season. Lindsay, I'm so glad you're here.